The Kaiko bar from HTLT.
Sorry, macros, 6 fat, 33 carb, 20 protein.
Not bad. Great macros. Thank you, Greg.
Coach Greg, in today's video, Mike Israetel, he's calling me out. He's calling me a liar. And so first I was a sociopath and now I'm an outright liar. And so what exactly is he saying that I'm lying about? Greg's going to make 10 videos about his bar. The money back guarantee on the Turk is also a lie. No, it's not. I can see the Greg title now. Dr. Mike lies about my protein bar. The next comment, he did LOL. Mike knows it's not supposed to look like the bar inside. Everyone knows it's meant to resemble the candy it's flavored after, which is a Twix. Mike absolutely talked it down because he hates Greg. As is typical, Greg does something just fine and then lies extra for no reason about it. Here's the comment I was looking for. What does he lie about? The picture on the front is very generous. I mean, it's weird to bring that up when almost every protein bar does the same thing, even several in this video that were not called out have different pictures on the front versus what is in the packaging. And so the picture on the Sequel bar doesn't resemble exactly what you get inside. And so Mike Israetel, he speaks highly of the Anabar. Says it tastes amazing, but it's better. It has a lot of fat, it has a lot of sugar, it's high in calories. Remember, it's 5 grams smaller than its leading competition being the Sequel bar, but the Sequel bar has far fewer calories, despite it being bigger. And so is Mike perhaps a little bit jealous? He says that the Sequel bar is small. And so when Mike says it's small, is he in fact talking about the size of his Turk? Or perhaps the chances that he's going to get the opportunity to Greg my Doucette? Or perhaps that he'll ever win an IPV Pro card? And no, by eating the bar, you're not going to get a freaking tan. There is no melanotan in the protein bar. And so when we examine the Anabar, editors show several photos of an Anabar.
Okay.
What do you notice? Does that s'mores bar inside the Anabar, does it look exactly like that? With 2 crackers filled with chocolate and marshmallow. Is that what the Anabar looks like when you open up the wrapper? I don't think so. And so when you show a picture of a cheesecake, is it actually a cheesecake inside of the wrapper? Or let me guess, Mike, when you open up that Quest bar, the apple pie flavor, you're very disappointed when you find out there wasn't any ice cream inside of that wrapper. Have you ever looked at the cover of a freaking protein bar, Mike? I mean, think of it. You've been eating protein bars for years. You have so much experience, but you don't even know what the covers of protein bars actually do with their advertising. And so people are trying to explain the flavor. If there's a picture of a Cinnabon, it's going to taste something like cinnamon. And so when you get a Quest chocolate chunk Quest bar, does it look like that? Hey, Mike Israetel, I'm asking you, does it look like that? Perhaps he's never seen a Quest bar before. Well, let's look at a birthday cake. Remember, Quest, I do believe, is the most popular bar in the entire world, even more popular than Coach Greg's Sequel bar. And so the birthday cake Quest bar looks like a piece of cake. I even see frosting on the top. Last I checked, when you eat a protein bar from Quest, it doesn't come in the shape of a triangle like you cut out a piece of birthday cake. And so, Mike, you having a little bit of a bias? Maybe just a twinge? And so just because you can't earn your freaking IPB Pro card because you don't know how to properly get a 10 doesn't mean you have to shit on Coach Greg's protein bar, now does it? But I get it. Mike Israetel is so jealous of Coach Greg's success, the fact that I beat him in a debate 4 years ago, that he just can't handle it. And so let's watch Mike dissect Coach Greg's protein bar. Let's see what he says. Now let me ask you this. Do you believe that he's done this with no bias whatsoever?
This one I'm going to deliver anonymously just so you can be non-biased.
Oh, that's the best.
And so they give him the bar already pre-wrapped so that he can give an opinion unbiased. Now, what do you think that means? Is Mike Israetel thinking, of all the people's bars in the world, could it have been anybody else's bar? Think of it. I'm going to deliver this anonymously just so you can be non-biased. It's not possible. Mike must have known in advance that this was in fact my protein bar. Does anyone believe that he did not know that this was an HTLT Sequel bar? What did you think it was going to be? It was going to be an Anabar, a Quest bar, a Built bar, that he was going to be delivered that anonymously so he could give an unbiased rating. As soon as he heard, I'm not going to say whose this bar is from so that you can give an unbiased rating, he knew that it was Coach Greg's bar. But let's see what he says regardless.
This one we have to do this with, and you'll see why eventually.
He says this one you'll have to do this with, and you'll see why eventually. Why do I repeat exactly what's already been shown? Why do I always do that?
What an appetizing sound it makes falling down. It definitely has structural integrity.
And so he's glazing the bar now. He says there's structural integrity. What is he eating, a freaking house? What kind of a rating is that? It has structural integrity. Really? That's all he could come up with.
Sorry, macros, 6 fat, 33 carb, 20 protein.
Not bad. Great macros.
And so what did he say? Not bad, great macros. And so despite the fact he knows it's Coach Greg's protein bar, he cannot lie. But if he was in fact being honest with himself, he would be saying the macros are amazing. Consider, in comparison to the Anabar, there's approximately 50 or less calories. And remember, it's 5 grams bigger.
That's what she said.
My bar, 70 grams, the Anabar, only 65. Now, you may be thinking 5 grams is not all that much. It's 9% more. If I said that you could use turkesterone and put on 9% more muscle, would that not be a lot? If you weigh 100 pounds, you're at 9% of that, it's 9 pounds. And so 9%, it's a lot. And so in the scheme of calories, it works out to approximately 25 calories. And so imagine if the Anabar were the size of Coach Greg's bar, there would be 25 additional calories. And seeing as it's almost 300 calories, it'd be close to 320. And so if you're looking for a bulking bar, a bar with a ton of calories from fat and sugar and so on, get the Anabar. But if you're not looking to bulk, you're not trying to get fat while eating protein bars, then try and get the Sequel bar instead.
Pretty small bar.
And so when he says a small bar, he is in fact lying. It is not a small bar. As evidenced by, well, the Anabar is 65 grams and the Quest bar is 60. Find a bigger bar that has fewer calories than the Sequel bar. How many bars are actually as big as the Sequel bar? Not many. Remember, he gave a great review of the Built bar. The Built bar is tiny. I believe it's 48 grams. And so how dare you, Mike? How dare you outright lie?
Let's give it a shot.
And so did he just say, or did he say, I think I heard a, And so that sounded like a pleasant feeling in his mouth. Perhaps he was in fact gregging his Doucette earlier in the day. Now remember, Mike Israetel is the type of guy that pulls out of his boyfriend and comes all over his stomach. And so Mike clearly getting a lot of pleasure from having something of Coach Greg inside of his mouth. Mepsogram liked that joke. And she is in fact a throat goat. She would know. The sound that he makes, it doesn't lie. Think of it. You might in fact hate Coach Greg, but when something pleasant enters your mouth from in fact Coach Greg, you're going to make that kind of a sound. Did you not hear that? He couldn't resist. A lot different than the sound from him blasting Tren and Halotessin, which is more of a It's a pleasing, soothing sound from having Coach Greg in the mouth. And so, Mike Israetel, if you'd like something else from Coach Greg in the mouth, why not try a Sloppy Greg? A Sloppy Greg in the mouth, one of the most underrated recipes from Cookbook 3.1. And so, interested in the cookbook, code Greg 15% off.
It's supposed to be milky crisp.
Okay, so like milk dud flavor. That makes sense. That's what it tastes like.
And so he says it tastes like a nutty, milky flavor. And so he's happy about this. Remember, he's got some Coach Greg nutty taste in his mouth.
Do you think it resembles what it looks like on the package?
What the fuck? This is a joke.
And so he says, what the fuck, is this a joke, when he sees the photo on the protein wrapper in comparison to what's inside. But what about Quest bars? What about the Anabar? What about nearly all bars? Mike?
What the fuck?
And so you're saying that all protein companies are simply liars?
The Kaiko bar from HTLT.
And so Mike Israetel, with all the intellect in the world, he calls it a Kaiko bar. Does he in fact realize that CICO stands for calories in, calories out? As in, if you eat this bar, you're not going to get fat. In comparison, the Anabar, it's for bulking. The CICO bar is for people concerned with not having to bulk to put on muscle. And remember, many people think that bulking is vaulted. This is bullshit. You don't need to bulk to put on muscle.
Caramely looking bullshit and the hard on the inside, it's all just one homogeneous thing.
As is typical, Greg does something just fine and then lies extra for no reason about it.
And so essentially saying Greg does something just fine, and what that means is that the bar is amazing. If you can decipher, read between the lines, between the and the just fine and the great macros.
Not bad, great macros.
Just fine.
What the fuck?
He's actually giving it a great rating. But because it's Mike Israetel, he has to shit on Coach Greg. Well, not literally, but figuratively. Hey, I'm not into that. Remember, some people have weird fetishes, perhaps Mike Israetel does, but we don't do that right here. What my fans do is they greg their Doucettes harder than last time until they GO2 max, or perhaps Turk on their stomachs.
Thank you, Greg.
And so you're welcome, Mike. Anytime you need some advice on how to get a proper tan to win your IPP Pro card, you know where to find me.
All right, guys, I'm here with Greg Doucette.
What the fuck? Thank you, Greg. Greg Doucette, I take everything back. You have been outdone in your own game. The Liver King has a bar.
And so he says, you know what, Coach Greg, you've been outdone at your own game. And by that he means somebody who's lying harder than last time. The Liver King, the one person he could think of that's worse than even Coach Greg.
Looks like one of those like, oh my God, there's oil on it. Oh, fuck. It already got oiled up.
And so has Mike oiled up before GTA 6?
Fuck that.
And so let it be known that Mike Israetel enjoyed Coach Greg in his mouth, but did not enjoy the Liver King. He's a spitter, not a swallower when it comes to the Liver King. Remember, he swallowed my Turk until he GO2 max, but not the Liver Kings.
Unfortunately, the number one ingredient for the protein here is a premium collagen blend.
Notice he didn't call out how small the Built Bar was, despite the fact it's the smallest bar out of all of
The
them.
Kaiko bar
What?
didn't taste that bad, but has a bar on the cover that's neither shaped nor textured like the bar inside. I don't know why the fuck you would do that.
And so he gives it a 9th out of 10 place rating, which is the second worst rating you could get, against only the Liver King bar, which is the worst bar I've ever tasted in my entire life.
And next up is the Gorilla bar. It's a fine bar.
Despite the fact that Gorilla Bar, it's a picture of a Reese peanut butter cup on the cover. I don't remember a Reese peanut butter cup being inside of that bar, but he doesn't comment about that.
What the fuck?
Why do you think that is? Could it be personal bias? Maybe it's bias.
Thank you, Greg. The Gatorade protein bar, the only downside for me is it makes me shit my pants. Thank you, Greg.
And so in second place, just so that you can understand how biased Mike Israetel is the Gatorade protein bar. And so let's check out the macros. 20 grams of protein, which also is in the CICO bar, but it has 340 calories. That's about 50 more than even the Anabar. And so is it really surprising that it's gonna taste good? It's got 340 fucking calories. What do you expect?
Thank you, Greg.
And so to be perfectly clear and out myself from being a liar, the cinnamon protein bar that CICO has just released, you can get it on the website. It isn't actually a Cinnabon.
What the fuck?
Although it's got a picture of a Cinnabon, a circle Cinnabon, it's actually a protein bar. It tastes amazing, but you're not getting a Cinnabon. It's not actually a bun. And so when Mike unwraps a Quest birthday cake bar, is he expecting to blow out candles? What's wrong with you, Mike? Really? I'm lying in my advertisements because you don't get exactly what's on the picture of the wrapper when you buy a protein bar. Every second protein bar is the exact same thing.
Thank you, Greg.
And so he rates it number 2, despite the fact it's got all those unwanted calories. And so perhaps you don't care. If you're just looking for a candy bar that has 20 grams of protein, the more calories, the better. Well, by all means, buy this bar. But if you're trying to ration out your calories, you perhaps care about how you look, you don't want to look like Mike Israetel, then you don't want to buy the Gatorade bar. You want to buy the Sequel bar. And so remember, Mike Israetel is a guy who can't get in shape for a bodybuilding competition. He lit 6th place because he's out of shape. He can't diet. And so why are we listening to Mike Israetel on what protein bar we should in fact be eating? Should we not be perhaps listening to Coach Greg? I've eaten just as much or more protein bars than Mike Israetel ever has or ever will. And I, for example, know how to get in shape. Mike Israetel, he tried, but he just couldn't do it. But remember, it's not his fault. He's never tried any of Coach Greg's recipes. He doesn't have my cookbook, and so he doesn't know what he's missing.
The macros are decent and it tastes great and the texture is top of class.
And so the macros are great. What is great about them? It's both high in fat, high in carbs, and fairly low in protein when you consider it's got 340 calories and only 20 grams of protein. And so what standard is Mike Israetel basing proper macros on a protein bar? It seems he cares nothing about how many calories are in a bar and only cares about the taste. And so let me know in the comments section, was Mike Israetel unbiased in his assessment? Does he understand what it means to have proper macros? Remember, the guy can't even get in shape for a bodybuilding competition, and trust me, he's tried multiple times. And so when you're listening to Mike Israetel on which bar you should buy, does he actually know what he's talking about? If he thinks that the Gatorade bar is the second best bar in the world, and that if you have a picture of a protein bar that doesn't resemble exactly what's inside, then it gets put in nearly last place. Does that make sense?
Makes me shit my pants. Thank you, Greg.
And so let me know in the comment section, which is your favorite bar considering the macros and the protein? Coach Greg's new bar only has 230 calories, 20 grams of protein, and it's 70 grams. It's one of the biggest bars you can have with only 230 calories, and to me, that is amazing. And so if you're interested in any of the Sequel protein bars, click the link in the description, code Greg, 15% off. And wasn't he drinking Gatorade on prep? Is Mike perhaps slightly biased? He was having Gatorade in the morning, Gatorade in the afternoon, and so perhaps he's a fan of Gatorade. Perhaps he's making this video thinking one day they'll sponsor me. Gatorade is going to sponsor Mike Israetel. Yay!
Makes me shit my pants.
And so who is the more honest advertiser? Is it in fact Mike Israetel who's bragging up Gatorade to this extent?
Gatorade.
Or is it Coach Greg who's simply being honest? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you like it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 books. Of course, the cookbooks, the Circle Diet book, the training books. You can get it all on my website. You have no money. Get the free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. Remember, there's a money-back guarantee on GO2 Max as well as Turkesterone. So far, only 4 people have required a refund from using Turkesterone, and so less than 0.1% of the people getting Turkesterone are actually disappointed. Remember, that's less than 1 in 1,000. And so if that is not a testament to how good Turkesterone really is, well, I don't know what is. And until next time, I am out.